time, basically, if you just had any questions, maybe you had a question for Vader, maybe you had a question for our set designer, maybe myself as a director and whatnot, or about the sound and the vocals, this kind of thing. Because we did redo all the sound, redo all the vocals. The music was new. The entire production was essentially new to just help recreate the experience. And of course, as far as I know, it's truly this kind of thing has never been attempted live before in this detail. Okay? So if you have any questions, we're going to have to do that. We might strike a set a little bit as we go, but and then after that we'll have a SaberCombat workshop. Okay? Which again is optional. If you don't feel like participating, you don't have to. But we welcome it, and it will not be at some crazy high level or anything like that. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
So there's no other like stage show, like Star Wars play, like scripted?
As far as I know, I couldn't tell you about an entire Star Wars play. I think they've done many different types and whatnot, but no one that I've known or been able to run into, I've never seen video or chronicles of people recreating the whole Empire Strikes Back fight. It's probably because it's pretty complicated. There's a lot of props, there's a lot of sets, there's pieces, there's the arm and the hand, and all this kind of stuff like that. Yeah, as far as I know, nothing like this. I think they have done Star Wars plays in the spirit of it, but not quite a recreation of one scene, let alone the entire thing. But good question. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
So like you created the Star Wars movies?
No, I did not. That's a great question. A man named George Lucas and his crew, his film crew, put this whole movies together. And the first film was in 1977 called A New Hope, episode 4, as you might someday learn if you haven't seen it already. But I did not. I basically am doing this as a recreation. So instead of it being in a film format where they can do a lot of cameras and take one, take two, we have to do it all live for you, and any mistakes, we got to just keep rolling through it. Yes, sir.
I think we can all agree that Star Wars is pretty amazing, but what was the launching point for you where you decided, watching it's not enough, I gotta make it part of it?
Insanity. But it's a good question. What happened with me is, I'm not going to tell you my whole life story, but my background, my primary background is in theater and performance, live performance. So that's a big key, live versus film. I've done film work, but most of my focus has been live. And the second thing is my background is in martial arts and fencing. I'm a fencing instructor actually in the Bay Area. I teach saber fencing to youth and adults and so forth. So, and I've competed, as an athlete and whatnot. So my goal is always to do stuff like what you really see is what you get. I mean, here he is. It's not a graphics. Saber's not the graphics. It's not the special effects. We have to make it very practical. Of course, we could have added sparks to this, but not in this theater. We could have had smoke machines, or rather fog machines, but not in this theater. So the whole point is that you get to experience this here in the flesh, not on the two-dimensional screen. But yeah, it's mostly the first word I said, insanity. I dreamt of this project some years ago and said, wouldn't it be nice? Because my first productions were my own productions. I call them Balance of Power. You can find them on my website as well, or you can always check out my YouTube channel. They're on there. Back in 2006 and 2007. And they were my own kind of babies in the way that I knew that we could launch them live, because it was more simplistic. This was a lot more complicated, and I had no reference material. I needed to kind of go out there and just say, okay, I want to create this show. Who's done it before? I looked it all up, looking here, calling my friends. Did anybody ever done it? Nope, nothing. So basically, we had to have Mark. What are you going to do to solve this problem? Gary, how do you feel in the mask? You got to remember, when he has this thing on, it's hot. He cannot see very well. He has the fans inside here to help cool him off, but even there, he's still going to get hot. And of course, the armor and the cape and everything is very cumbersome. It's limiting.
So customize the helmet to fit me the way I like it to fit.
So we had to customize it all. Very good question. I hope I didn't go into detail. Yes, Taff.
Do you plan on recreating any more?
Good question. Right, so the goal in mind had always been, and I talked to some of my other associates and friends and students in some cases, about possibly just saying, well, we have the original fights. We have A&H, basically A New Hope, which would be, when we last met, I was but the learner, now I am the master. All that stuff. We could do this. And when you think about it, if I had not been insane, I would have started with it because, as you can imagine, not much set. Just Obi-Wan in a nice outfit, just Vader, a little bit of maybe back wall. But they didn't do that fight with a huge budget. They didn't do it with lots of special effects. It's a lot easier than doing this. No. But yes, and as you can imagine, doing the Return of the Jedi kind of fight, that would be tough. Because then we would have to have the Emperor and Sean. He would say, "You want your lightsaber? I feel the hatred in you. Go ahead, take your weapon, strike me." You know, all that stuff.
Not to mention, you would have me, not to mention you would have me trying to make Obi-Wan disappear in the middle of the stage.
Have a little chocolate.
I'd be like, "Hey, Mark, solve this problem. Okay, make it happen." Right. But no, it's a good point. I would like to, and who knows, with your help, with the support of the community, you know, I do have, I don't think it's called a Kickstarter thing, but it's a, what the heck are we doing? What is it called?
Rocket Home?
GoFundMe. GoFundMe. I have some of this going on. I don't like to ask for handouts and stuff and make it seem like people's money is just going into my pocket for no reason. But this is what I do. This is how I put these productions together. And we're hoping to do that. I would love to do one day a bigger show where you don't come and see a 10-minute show and be like, "That's it? Nothing?" You get to see maybe ANH, ESB, and ROTJ. Plus, that would bring that whole Luke Vader struggle all home. You know, we feel all that pain, you know, and see that catharsis of him switching roles when Vader's literally on the ground, helping take his mask off so I can see you with my own eyes. It would be really amazing, I thought. You know. Any other questions? Sorry to be long on my answers. Yes, young lady, and I'll get back to you.
Have you ever been to a major Star Wars event?
Interesting you ask. Okay, have I been to a major Star Wars event? Define major.
I've been to Star Wars Weekend at Disney World,
Okay.
so something like that.
I think the only ones I really did were basically because of my man Mark Menchie encouraged me to frequent one called Baycon, which is in 2006. That's where we performed one of my first shows. And then Baycon in 2007, we did our second one. And then the only one that I've ever been to, because of the encouragement of my other friends, they said, "You should go to Celebration 4, which was in LA or something, right?" Yeah, and I went to that. Don't you kill me now, don't you kill me. But yeah, so I've actually not had the money, the time, the resources to be able to get out there and do that. Because I'm just one guy. I don't know if you noticed on the program too, but I had to direct it, produce it, I did the sound. All the vocals are here, they're all me. Vader, the Emperor, Yoda, and Luke. Is that all of them? Yeah. I wanted him to record it, but again, money-wise, we didn't have a microphone for him. We didn't have the time to be able to coordinate getting him over to my house and say, "Let's do a recording session." We just don't have that kind of time on our hands. He's got a kid, this guy. I just had my newborn. She's 5 months now, Caitlin Alessandra. So yeah, I've been to a few, but not a lot,
Would
unfortunately.
you plan on it in the future if you had the time and money?
Yes, yes. I've actually tried to recently get us to be able to perform at, what's the next one coming up? It's not Fanime, but what is it called? Mark?
What?
Oh, what's conflicting with Fanime?
That's
Oh,
the
Baycon. Yeah. I wanted to get into this year's Baycon, but they said no. Fanime said no, so we can't, unfortunately. I will have tables at Baycon, but we won't be able to perform, which is unfortunate. You had a question. I'm sorry.
So, in all of your times doing these performances, have you ever considered trying to do a Shakespeare play with a Star Wars overlay?
It's funny you mentioned that. I believe that there is already that out there. Have you heard of this? Never?
Oh, I've tried doing one myself.
Well, I mean, do you have an idea that there is truly someone wrote the whole thing and it's already like
Yes.
out there? Yeah. So on that thought, I would not personally. It doesn't mean that I would say that's terrible. It's just I like to go with my own creativity and the way that I like to do stuff. I would not rather recreate someone else's work, except for with this kind of thing, because it's taking it from a film, and that was my actual key. I wouldn't have done this if Star Wars had started already as a play. I'd be like, it's already been done. I wanted to see. I was like, I wonder if we could make a window and me jump through it and make it look like I'm not dead, but at the same time make it look somewhat realistic. And I feel like we achieved it, and also have it be portable. Because if it was totally the true size, the true window is like 3 times the size of this. And that wouldn't fit my car. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do that kind of thing. But I know there's people who have done it, and I would love to see that. Any other questions? Maybe you have some questions for Vader. This is a good time because if you want to know more about the logistics of him, he has to do the chess box, the electronics, and the customization. And, it's a good time if you're interested. I know my man Taff over here, I know this gentleman, is interested in becoming Vader at one point or another. So there you go. But how about you? And then I'll come back to you. Okay.
For Vader, just logistically,
Here.
where is the wiring and batteries and where is that on you?
I have a mic in my mouth, and I have a wire going down my back and to a room.
Can you hear him? I just want to make sure. Okay, wait, Gary? They can't hear you, which is interesting.
I have a mic that's behind me, right here.
Oh, here, I'll show it. This is, okay, so his mic is up here.
And then I have a speaker behind my back.
Oh, nice.
And the mic is, not the mic like this, and put the mic back on, I can, it's a micro mic, and the electronics are just basically, these are battery operated individually. And over time, I may do more to it, put the speakers in here, so I can just turn it on. And, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. I have a long way to go.
Definitely WIP work in progress. In fact, it's funny. I have actually, this man has helped me, you would laugh at this, he has helped me to become Vader. And I know I'm short for it, but what I do is I have these higher boots, jeep, and then I actually wear the helmet up higher, and I end up being not quite as tall as this gentleman, but I end up being about 6'1", 6'2", which is ridiculous because I'm not even close to that height. But I custom built a chest box, which I wanted to be able to use for this performance, but we just didn't have time. And it does the lights more appropriately for the movie. It breathes too, so you hear the whole.
Yeah, I could tell that sequence wasn't correct.
But it's true, it's true. Some people will look over to accuracy. I kind of go a little of both, and we just had fun with it. Like, I had a lot of fun, and it was a good project time for me to take apart a box very similar to that one and just gut it and be like, okay, I'm going to redo the electronics. What do I need? I got to get this. I got to get this. I got to solder this. I got to do this thing. Oh, what about this thing? It's a lot of work, but it's also that project that when you finish, you're like,
A lot of the Vaders out there, they're actually, each Vader in each movie has its differences. And getting into making a Vader, you find out quick that each Vader is different. Episode 1, A New Hope, Episode 4. To me, that's Star Wars. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. In Star Wars, Vader had red eyes, a widow's peak, and so on. Jedi, no widow's peak, black eyes, etc. And so, when you're doing a Vader, there are a lot of people who do a specific Vader. And I'm not any of those Vaders specifically. I'm modeling after the ones I like the most, which are the Episode 3 and the A New Hope. So mine is modeled a little bit after Episode 3 and A New Hope, in the sense where I like the all-black mask rather than the two tones. And I like the flat lenses, but at the same time, I like the shorter neck. I don't like it. So there's all these differences that are like ridiculous that you will never notice once you're like into Vader, like the landscape sides, the horizontal side. I mean, there's so many little minute differences. Blue lights, blue and red lights on this belt. So it all depends on who you are and what you like and how bad you want to do it.
and this also just relates to really quick, and I'll take, of course, some more questions. Anything you guys want, that's what we're here for. Is that there's a lot of artists. I mean, when you even, let's talk about, to the film, there's so many artists involved. I've never really met any of them. I would love to someday, but right, they spend their time on the craft. Like someone had to design, they're like, okay, I want this a certain way. The way the Vader mask was painted, the way that the curves, someone had to design it. And as some of you are probably familiar, Ralph McQuarrie was kind of the first visionary artist that Lucas, got involved in having him do the drawings. And I still remember a quote that George Lucas said. He says, if I was ever confused, if the crew was ever confused, I just pointed to one of Ralph's designs and say, make that happen. And
are there any artists out here? Like anybody who's an artist in there? If you want to do it, you can do it. I mean, I wanted a Vader mask, and so I did it. I mean, all you need to do is just, if you have time to do a painting, just take that time, use some clay, and I bought a $30 mask, believe it or not, and I just customized it. I kept basically this whole face, I removed and replaced. So if you have time to, you do the painting and you sketch it out and then come back to it later, you do the same thing with your costume. You can, look at pictures and, learn about molds. I'm lucky I work at Tap Plastics, so I can get molding materials and things like that. But none of this was made with Tap Plastic parts. Everything I got from here is from Michael's. He had me get some clay. So if you feel you can do it, or if you think you can't do it, just say you can, and you will.
he's totally right. Let's take a few more questions too, and I will point to you with the hand, as you can see. This is our wonderful little stunt saber. Oops, it's already failed. Good, did it shot. But that's the idea. I had to kind of cheat with the sleeve and then fake it, and then bam, it goes off. Yes?
I actually wanted to ask a little about the lightsabers. Like, are these custom blades or?
They are. They're go ahead. Yours is behind you, Gary. Pop it on. So I designed all these myself. I build them all. I've been building them since around 2007. And of course, as you saw, they're really bright. They have this kind of flashing ability. Harder to catch that when you're in motion, and you can even have it lock. So when you cross them, you can often do that locking thing with it. It's hard to bring the buttons in a different place. Let's see here. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. But yeah, we want to be really bright and really resilient so that when we collide them, they don't break or anything. So they're very unlike the normal ones you buy in the store. But there are a lot of people who make them. You're asking?
What are the blades actually made out of?
The blades are made out of something called polycarbonate, which is basically a high polymer plastic. It's basically polycarbonate is the plastic as diamond is the glass to a point. But it's also very resilient, like it bends so that if it was too stiff, it would snap right away. But if it has some of this resilience, like a stiff branch in the wind would break, and so this is how the
They
material
use polycarbonate for bulletproof window and for bulletproof vest, so that's how strong polycarbonate is.
more bullet resistant.
Yeah, bullet resistant.